everyone, it's Tanya from Royal City Nursery, and today we are going to build a fall planter. No different than our spring or summer planters. This is going to be made up of thrillers, fillers, spillers. I'm going to add a new one today, a chiller. And a chiller to me is just something cool that you cannot live without. That's the part that gives your planter a little bit of funk and a little bit of you. So if we take a look at what we're using, we're going to build the planter in just a basic black plastic nursery pot, because I'm using this as a drop-in. So when I'm done, it's actually going to go into this ceramic pot, but that way I don't have to worry about my ceramic pot cracking. And more importantly, if I have two sets of drop-ins at home, that means I always have one empty, so I can build one and then just swap it out really, really easy. For soil, I've got a really good either veranda mix or an organic pro mix in here, or an agro mix, that's the other name for it. So this is soilless. There's actually not a whole lot of soil in it. So it's nice and light and fluffy, which is perfect for roots. For our thriller, we're going to be using a perennial grass. This is one of my favorite, called Blood Brothers. So this is actually, again, it's perennial. And what that means is it's going to come back year after year, but it's not going to do that in this pot. So at the end of the season, I'm going to dig it out, I'm going to plant it in my garden, and this switchgrass will get roughly about 5 feet tall, which is awesome. We see a little bit of burgundy on the stem right now, so as we get through the fall, it gets cooler and cooler, that burgundy is going to come further down. As far as planting goes, right now it's just too high. If you take a look at it, I want the soil level, this part right here, to be roughly about 3/4 of an inch below my lip. So I'm just going to dig out a bit of a hole. Now we're getting somewhere. So if we look at that, this soil level again is lower than the lip, which is perfect, so that gives us room for water. So I again had to dig out a bit of a hole. Now because this is my thriller, I'm only going to use one of these, but I'm going to put this at the back. So already we know that this pot is going to face, that is facing you right, so that's front. So everything else I'm going to build out and around it. A filler can be something like this ornamental kale. I love these ones because I love the serrated edges, right? It's just a really, really pretty leaf. But a filler in a planter is something that quite literally fills the space. So this will just get a little bit bigger and a little bit fuller. If you want some help popping things out of the pot, do this. So we've got my fingers on either side, and then I'm going to turn it upside down. There we go. So I've got the full weight of the plant, and I can just pop the pot off. And there we go. We are going to set the soil level on this, the same as the grass. So as I build, I'm just going to keep working out, and I'm going to work forward. But you'll notice that I actually put it so they're touching, mostly because I don't have a whole lot of patience for growth. And when we're talking about fall, we're also talking about a shorter growing season, and that's okay. We like it that way, right? It's supposed to be beautiful and cool. So I'm just going to snug these in there. We'll move some soil aside, and we'll start to put in some of our spillers. So this is a Super Tunia, beautiful little guy. But look at the color on this. It's almost copper. Oop. Little bloom we can take off. And again, I'm going to get them out of the pot the same way. We'll use those later. And for my spillers, I want to make sure that the edge actually trails over the edge of the pot, right? It's called a spiller for a reason. And that means it spills over the edge of the planter. But I'm going to hide all of this stuff. Right now I'm building this symmetrically. For those of you that know me, this is a little bit odd. Well, mostly because I generally tend to use odd numbers, but that's what we're going to put in a third petunia. So it's going to sit right down front. And now that leaves me room middle. I'm just going to dig these out and create a hole. This leaves me some room for a marigold. Look at the color on this. Isn't that funky? Now this bloom is broken, that's okay. It'll rebloom shortly. Come on there, there we are. So this marigold is also another filler. So again, as it grows, it's going to keep filling and filling and filling and filling and filling. Let's just pop this, push this over to the side. There we go. Remember at the beginning, I talked about a chiller. A chiller is just something funky that you can't live without. And for me in fall, it's ornamental peppers. Look at the color on these. I've had a couple people tell me it looks like Christmas lights. Can't possibly be Christmas lights. This is only September. Too early for that. Now this one, you can see the plant's a little floppy and that's okay. So I'm just going to support it a little differently. There we are. And into the pot she goes. And the nice thing with this, there we go, is that one's a bit of a spiller too, right? You look at the habit, it's spilling out. So I've got everybody in here. We are stuffed and we are looking good. There's a whole bunch of buds on this marigold, so this will come. Now the only thing I need left to do, so you can see I've got a bunch of extra soil, right? So some of the soil I may very well need to get rid of, but most of it, I actually need to pack the spaces in between the pots, right? So I don't want any air spaces at all, because roots need to make sure they've got soil contact. If they've got too much air contact, the roots don't grow. So, and again, that's not what we're looking for here. So we get everybody in there. We get all, and what you can't see right now is I'm packing all of the holes in between the pots. Right, so again, I have no hole in there. There's a pot here and a pot here. I want to make sure that that spot gets full. And voila, we have got one very full fall planter that's just going to get fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller. Now I said I was using this as a drop-in, so all I'm going to do is take some of the pots that I had left over and I'm going to turn them upside down in the bottom of this pot, because I know there's a little bit of space down there, right? And then I'm just going to drop her in. There we go. Super, super simple. Very last thing, it's a planter, so it needs to be watered. You need to make sure, and we'll do this off camera, but you need to make sure that it gets watered well when you plant like this, and then you're going to check it every single day. Stuff your finger into the soil. When it's dry to the first knuckle, it's ready to go. Super simple and beautiful for fall. Have fun. See you later.